Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to the desktop for another rules breakdown. And this week I'm going to cover Dark Heresy, a 2008 role-playing game from Black Industries, the publishing arm of Games Workshop. Now this is a role-playing game set in the Warhammer 40k universe, and it uses a version of the rules from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd Edition, which makes a whole lot of sense, because those rules are based on the Warhammer Fantasy Battle rules. So, taking those rules and adapting them to roleplay for the 40k universe makes a whole load of sense. Now, for our sample character, we're going to use one of the sample characters from the adventure, which is at the back of the book. So we flick to page 389. We can see the various NPCs from the adventure. And we'll just use the first one, Sebek the Purser. Now, we've got his stat block here with his weapon skill, his ballistic skill, his strength, his toughness, his agility, his intelligence, his perception, his willpower, and his fellowship. Now, these are very similar to the 40k wargame, but the skills themselves come off those attributes. So he's got important skills here. Awareness, which is a perception skill. Barter, which is fellowship. Common law, which is a tech skill which comes off his intelligence. And when he's using those skills, he gets to roll the associated attribute. So if we flick back to page 98, we can see there's a full list of all the skills here and what stats they come off. But fortunately, with the NPCs, they're listed. Now, if you take the same skill multiple times, it means you get a plus 10 for each extra time you take the skill on your rolls. So his barter fellowship here is plus 10 because he's got the skill twice. So he's not just rolling his fellowship, he's rolling his fellowship plus 10. And it's just a percentile roll. So he's got a 40% chance of success. We roll, and we roll 44, so he has failed. Now obviously there are certain things you can do even if you don't have the skill. These are called basic skills, which everybody's allowed to try. But they are still based on your attribute, but you only use half of your attribute. So somebody trying to barter who does not have the barter skill would use half their fellowship, so only a fellowship of 15. And in contested rolls, the two players roll and see who has beaten their attribute by the most, and that's the winner. If they have both beaten by the same amount, then it's the person who rolled lowest that wins. Now for initiative, you're rolling a d10 and adding the tens column from your agility. So Sebek the Purser here has an agility of 28, so it's 2. So we're rolling a d10 and adding 2. So he's got an initiative of 5, and highest goes first, of course. Now, everybody gets one action, but if we turn to page 188, we can see the different types of actions we've got. So we've got an all-out attack as a full action, which gives you a plus 10 to your weapon skill, but you cannot dodge or parry. You can charge. You must move 4 meters, a plus 10 to weapon skill. You've got half actions where you can feint, do an opposed weapon skill. If you win, your next attack cannot be dodged or parried, and so on and so forth. But everybody gets one action, and you can take either 2 half actions or 1 full action. It must also be noted that you can only take 1 of each type of half action. You can't take the same half action twice. Now, attacking is as simple as rolling under your weapon skill for melee attacks or your ballistic skill for ranged attacks. So Sebek the Purser here has 20 in both of those, so we roll, he gets 79 and he misses. Now, if he'd hit, his opponent has a chance of a reaction skill, so they can dodge or they can parry. Now these are skills, so you must have them, but they are basic skills, so you can use them untrained, and basically half of the attribute. So a dodge is based on agility. So you're rolling agility again, or rolling your dice against agility. So 32, so it fails. But if it succeeded, then the attack totally misses and you take no damage. Parries are the same, but they use your weapon skill. They're a free action, so you don't need to allocate anything to them. They're a reaction, rather. And you roll your dice against your weapon skill, and if you succeed, you parry. And the attack does no damage. Now, damage is based on the weapon. However, if we look at page 195... we can see when dealing damage with a melee attack, your strength bonus also comes into play. And your strength bonus is based on the tens column of your strength. So Sebek the Purser here does a strength bonus of 2 to all his melee attacks, because he's got a strength of 25. Now the actual damage is based on the weapons themselves. So if we go to page 130, there's a nice table here with many of the ranged weapons. So our bolt gun here, the standard bolter, does d10 plus 5. A las pistol does d10 plus 2 energy damage. A combat shotgun does d10 plus 4 impact damage. Now, the melee weapons are a few pages onwards. And we can see like an axe does d10 plus 1. A knife does 1d5. But of course, they're plus the strength bonus. So, in combat, firing a bolter, it's 1d10 plus 2. We roll 6 plus 2, we've done 8 damage. Now, damage is based on your wounds, or your health is based on your wounds. So turning back to Sebek the Purser, we can see he has 9 wounds. So 8 points of damage come off that, and he's left at 1 wound at the moment. But that has no negative effects. However, if in the next round he was to take the same hit again, so another 8 points of damage, that would take him into critical hit territory. Now for that, we need to look at both the location where he was hit and the type of damage that was done. So the location where he is hit is based on your original roll, which to hit in this case, we rolled a 79. So we reverse the dice, so 79 into 97, to decide where he was hit. So if we return to page 194, we can see the hit locations. So 79 reversed to 97 is the left leg. So Sebek was hit in the left leg. He was hit by a bolt round, which is explosive damage. So then we want to turn to page 202, where the critical hit tables start. So we turn up to explosive damage, leg. Now he was hit by 2 8s, so he went 7 beyond his wounds. So on 7, the explosion reduces the target's leg into a hunk of smoking meat. Target must immediately make a toughness test or die from shock. On a successful test, target is still stunned for 1d10 rounds, takes 1d10 levels of fatigue, and suffers blood loss. He now only has 1 leg. So very small critical hits when you go past your wounds. Just do minor effects. Glancing Blast sends the character backwards 1 meter. So you get blown off your feet, but you can carry on acting. Now, if you take multiple critical hits, they add together. So, in another round, the character takes another 1 level of critical hit. He only takes 1 more wound. So that takes him to an 8. And that gives us more information. Blast tears a leg from the body in a geyser of gore, sending him crashing to the ground, blood pumping from the ragged stump. And it's instantly fatal. So the character dies. And the effects range from very little to massive damage, because at the most here, the character not only explodes, affecting everybody around him with impact damage from bits of his body, but his ammunition cooks off, doing damage as an explosion, and any grenades or missiles explode as well. So a critical hit can be absolutely fatal, not only to the character, but doing damage to the people around him. Now, advancement is based on experience in Dark Heresy. Now, you keep track of the total experience, as that's what shows what you've got access to. If we turn back to page 44, we can see the career paths. So based on basically the class you've chosen, you have a career path. And within that, you go from level to level. So if you've got XP from 0 to 499 for an adept, you're an archivist, and you've got access to these advances and these characteristic advances. So you can buy up your attributes, or you can buy up this selection of skills for the costs listed. Now, when you've got above 499 experience, between 599, you become a scrivener, and you gain access to these advances as well. You've still got access to these, but you've got these ones as well. And you can add, and as you've got levels, you get access to more and more. And at certain points, you choose a branch that your character is going to take, which gives them access to particular sets of skills. But that's how it works. You keep track of the total experience you've ever earned, which shows you what rank you are. And then you spend that experience on advances, which give you skills and boost your attributes. Now that is just a very brief look through Dark Heresy. I have skipped over a lot of rules. There is a lot of complexity in there. But this should get you through the first couple of sessions with some basic stuff. But there's so much based around combat and the different things you can do within combat, you know, charging, going full offensive and all that, adds a lot of tone to fighting within the game. And I really do like these rules. They're based on the Warhammer Fantasy Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay rules, 2nd edition, which is an extremely solid set of rules, and based on the 40k battle rules, which, again, very solid, very mature set of rules. Now, I'd just like to comment, I've only just noticed, even though I've owned this book since it came out, that the logo is basically using an old Photoshop effect to make a font appear 3D. I can tell from the gradient around the edge of there, which is a bit cheap. But it's a lovely game, and I really do like it. But I think, as always, I've whittled on for quite long enough. So please like, subscribe, and comment below, as it does me massive favours with the YouTube algorithm. But as always, most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.